I think we're live. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see if I can get anything to will anything show up? Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to I'm trying to remember how I used to do this. Let's see here. Reload. It's gonna take a second, so just everybody calm down. Just calm down. Calm down. Oh, there we go. Live. Excuse me. Okay. Food just works. I'm trying to remember how I used to do this. Did I have my laptop out? Is that what I did? Oh man. I'm not even sure what's inspiring this this madness. A commercial though. Skip. What I want to do. Oh, 2026! Can you believe it? Oh, 2026! Oh, and the delay is real. I guess we'll use the tablet since the tablet is within hand's reach. Yeah, lots of things have changed. Coffee machine broke, so we do it this way now. Beep, beep, beep right at you, buddy. Step one, look inside, try to remember how much water goes in, eyeball it. We're gonna go with that much. And then because this particular machine is so well engineered, you have to go back and reset it to the setting you want every time you use it. It will not remember your previous settings because why would you want to make life simple? Oh, I didn't really clean up very good, to be honest with you. Well, it's a live stream. I'm a real person doing live things. We're doing French press now. I'll film my disgusting dirty sink here. Doesn't bother me a bit. So that's how this works. Get some lights. I don't think I have all my lights set up either. So coffee grinds down your drain, not the greatest. So what I do is I give this thing a little rinse. You know, you're gonna start your day off watching a live stream of me doing a tutorial how to clean a French press. And then I grab myself one of these things, a small plate. Reserve that for later. Reach over here, grab the old strainer. Give that a pour, give that a swirl, give that a pour. How do we do? Pretty close. Now, it's not a perfect method. It doesn't get everything 100%. And then this guy goes over to the trash can. I don't know if we're going to film that. I guess we could try. Over here, give that a tap. There you go, perfect. Set that in there. Look inside that. Coffee grind clean enough. Back over here, set him there. Go to your relatively clean rag pile. Grab a relatively clean rag pile. What do you call these? Tea towels? Give it the old rub-a-dub. Yeah, give it the old rub-a-dub. Yeah, see? And then this thing, you never got completely, just give him the old rub-a-dub too while you're waiting. Just like that. Just like that. Your morning ritual is complete. Alright. Let's see what we got here. The old coffee bean bucket's getting to the point of needing to be replenished. I do 3. Perfection. So the way this works now is the water will heat in the water heater. The water gets poured over. I set the, I don't know, kettle back on there. And in 5 minutes after that kettle sets back on there, it will beep. And I will know 5 minutes has gone off. At that point, I will make my coffee to drink. That's how the donuts get made. In the meantime, the other important things in life, scoop of sugar, you can get that ready to go. I gotta decide what I'm making today. I don't even know. I haven't even thought about it. I got frozen bread. That's not great. I got pizza ovens in the way. That's not great. I've got a popcorn machine out, which, by the way, is great. It's just not great that it's out. I haven't cleaned my cast iron in a while. Do I have any? Oh, please. Do I have any? There's some bacon. Get some bacon out. Let's get the cast iron figured out. Keep it in here now. That's nice. Filthy, as normal. I think I used to clean this before I started the stream. Go high on both of those. Get that thing just roasting. I need to get the fireplace going too. You keep an eye on that. Let me know when it catches on fire. Just kidding. What a deal. How's it one day you wake up and you feel like live streaming? I don't know what it is. I think the live streaming inspires me to try to keep my kitchen a little more organized. I guess, yeah, no? Inspirational? I don't know if oh! Did you hear that? Do you know what that means? That's pour-over time, kids. See if we get the camera so it catches the action. Isn't that fun? Software update available. You need to free up some storage space. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah, they have a request of me, but I have to do something. Weird. That's weird. Didn't see that coming. Gotta get the big chunks up while we can. We're gonna enjoy the silence of me scrubbing my pan for a second here. Get another towel real quick. Live stream of a bearded man cleaning his cast iron. It was top internet content. that's the sizzle you're looking for. The sizzle will let you know it's working. Going with the heat sterilization method. I don't know if that's the official method. That's the method we're gonna go with this time. Fascinating! Oh my goodness. Alright. Am I calling that clean enough? Sure am not. Alright, so what's been going on? Anybody think about starting a daycare? Seems like there's good money in it. There's always money in the daycare. Reminds me of Arrested Development TV show in the bandstand. Took this trough, kind of sorted out a little bit. Steam is hot. I'm going to turn this thing around. Get that double burner. Shoot it on this side a little bit. Man. I try to follow the news, but it's hard these days to even turn it on without rolling your eyes and being like, what? Some of this stuff I just wonder if, like, is anyone actually going to get in trouble? Like, I'm not talking about, like, are regular people going to get in trouble, but, like, are the people in charge going to get in trouble? Maybe the fraud's too big. That seems to be a popular theme. It's too big to fraud. Remember when the banks were too big to charge or too big to fail because they were criminals? Maybe if you get the fraud big enough, nothing happens. I mean, I'm sure a few regular people will go to jail, but I wonder if anyone like important will go to jail. Oh, I heard the beep. You all see that beep? Beep. Beep, 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 beep. Here we go. Press. Slowly. And pour. Perfect. All right, I got to get some half and half real quick. Watch that griddle. Let me know if the light's on fire. It's about to. It's about to ignite. All right, that's getting a little too hot. We'll let it cool for a second. Do one more round of the old Paper is towelless. Maximus. I think we got it clean and sterile. The live stream is inspiring. It inspired me to clean my cast iron. See that? All the good things to do. Oh, open the camera. Calling that good. I'm calling that good. Let's get this coffee going. Get in my belly. Here we go. Sorry for the slurp. Couldn't help myself. 2 in a row. So yeah. Daycare fraud. What's the other one that's going on? They're doing daycare fraud. They're doing adult daycare fraud, and the third one, which is Chef Kiss. Childhood feeding. Something I remember. Did you hear about that? Was it Feeding Our Future, or is that the one? It's like, what? They just were like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then no one was like, okay, are you doing it? Like, no one thought to think, are you doing it? They just said, okay, we'll just keep sending you money. They started off frauding them. They got a little bit of money. They're like, man, this is going so good. We should scale this. That's what they did. They just scaled it. Like, if we could steal 100,000, what if we did it 10 times more? We could steal 200,000. 100,000 times. A million? Let's do a million. Oh, whatever. What are they up to? They're in the billions now? A billion? I'm trying to think, man. I guess the old saying is a million doesn't buy what it used to is absolutely true, which is kind of wild, but I'm just trying to think, like when I was growing up, could you even steal a billion? Is that even a thing you could steal? Could you steal a billion? Was there a billion to even steal? That's what I want to know. How do you steal a billion? A billion. I think one of the greatest things I've heard coming out of this, and I don't know how real it is, but someone said they couldn't do this is for the daycare stuff. They couldn't do all the in-place checking because it would cost too much. But it's like, I don't know. How does it work? There's unlimited money to give away, like unlimited money, but not unlimited money to make sure that it's not being stolen. Like I can't make the, I don't know what you call it. I can't cross the T's and dot the I's on that. How is it unlimited to give away, but limited to make sure it's not being stolen? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I want to understand. I do. I want to understand, but I cannot understand. Unlimited to give away, but limited to make sure it's not being stolen. Like that sounds like a predetermined scenario. Like if there's not enough money to make sure it's not getting stolen, but there's unlimited you can steal, it sounds like a system designed for stealing. Like, call me crazy. Maybe I'm just being jealous. Maybe I'm just a jealous little crybaby that I didn't get in on some of that. I keep hearing about there's people being arrested, but like, how much do you have to give back? Like, oh, hey, what's up, Jeremy? Like, if you steal 10 million, do you have to give all 10 million, or you only have to give $1 million back? steal 10 million, do a couple years in jail, give back 1 million. I think I'd take that right now. I'd take that right now. That sounds like 9 million in your pocket for 2 years of your life. That sounds good to me. We got audiobooks. Do they have? Oh, sorry. How am I? I'm doing all right. Trying out a breakfast stream. I haven't done a breakfast stream in a while. Cooking some bacon right now. Talking about that Minnesota fraud stuff. I'm trying to think what the other one was. They're doing the daycare. They're doing in-home health care for, I think, for the elderly, I believe. So what's wild is it sounds like what actually, the way that it was being maneuvered was they were just taking care of their friends and family and getting paid to do it. There was one report that one of those daycares, they would only hire employees that had 5 children so they could use all 5 of their children. So part of me wonders, is it, I don't know what you call it. Is it just expert reading the rules and following the rules? Maybe that's what they did. Maybe they're just really good at following the rules. I don't really know. It's impressive though. I think where they got a little sloppy is when they didn't actually do the work. If they just stuck with, hiring employees with 5 kids and have their 5 kids in there and then kicking the money back to the 5 kids' families, they would have. But they got a little greedy, I think, and they started kicking it out to other people. I think the downfall is going to be when they start really looking into the political donation stuff. I think that's probably going to be the put the brakes on moment is when that starts being a little more obvious. It's not a hard, fast rule, but in general, when you donate to a political party, give me 1 second here. I gotta get another light. I just realized I don't have a light. Anyway, what I was saying was, in generally, when you donate to a political party, it's generally because whatever party you're donating to historically has been in the business of passing laws or upholding laws or enforcing laws or whatever the laws you're into are that are beneficial to you in the way you live your life. That's generally how it works. Not always, but generally. So if they start finding some massive amounts of money being donated to people who allowed this fraud to happen, and they're getting what's called a kickback, that may get pretty wild, actually. Because we've got, in the United States, we've got the situations where they've had stuff like this happen in the past. Involving large-scale crime syndicate operations. I just realized I didn't have this on at all. So they've come up with a set of statutes and laws to handle that when large organized crime situations happen. Racketeering, RICO laws and stuff, which is pretty interesting because I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, but I just have a loose understanding of some things in life. When it starts to become large scale and they start doing RICO stuff on you, the way everything works as far as the prosecution, I think, changes too. I believe that statutes of limitations get changed and all sorts of stuff. So essentially, the powers that be don't appreciate it much when people get together in somewhat organized, large fashions to make crime happen. They don't appreciate that much. It's happened in the past. And to quote former President George Bush, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, won't be fooled again. I think that's the direct quote. And we've reached shame, fool me 3 times part of some of this stuff. I was talking to somebody about it, and they were kind of like, "Oh, it's just isolated one particular state of apparently Nobel laureates are in charge up there. I don't really know what's on." But I was like, "No, here's the thing. It's not going to be. They're going to find this everywhere. It's going to be probably in every single state." Because I think the mechanism that was used to do the fraud goes back to that we have unlimited money to give away, but we have limited amount of money to make sure it's not being stolen. And I think somehow, like, I don't really know. I think there was another one. What was it? Oh, there was the autism daycare stuff. That was a pretty good one. Now, am I saying that there doesn't need to be programs for that? I guess. I don't. A lot of this is beyond my pay grade. Like, I don't really know the answer for much of this stuff. Something I just don't quite understand is generally in business, if you will, when you scale your operation, and I don't think it really matters what you're doing, but generally when you scale, your costs come down. For example, we'll pretend that I'm in the bacon slice sizzling business. I sizzle bacon for a living, right? Now, we'll just do some basic costs. We'll just pretend I have a structure to bake, to sizzle bacon. But I have to buy a stove for the heat source. We'll just use this stove. We got this one. We got 4 burners. And we need something to cook the bacon on. And I'm using this griddle here, but I could use a smaller griddle. Let's say I could buy a griddle that only held 1 piece of bacon. So I could do that, and I could put a one-size piece of bacon on, put it on 1 burner, and go. If I put it on the large burner, there's extra heat coming off. I'm wasting money and electricity. Cooking 1 piece of bacon, that's fine. I'm on here. My hand's moving. I'm labor. You're paying me to move bacon. 1 piece cooked, put it on there, put another piece on. Okay. Well, let's say I scale the unit up to a full round burner that can cook, let's say, 4 pieces of bacon. Well, now I'm doing 4 times the cooking at once, you know. My labor's here just flipping a couple pieces of bacon at a time. Or I could do the whole thing where you can really get some bacon moving. And like the more you do, the cheaper it becomes. Like the cost of the stove is already paid for. You know, yeah, you're cooking on 4 burners now. You're cooking 4 times as much bacon, but you're moving more product. Maybe you can buy bacon in bulk. You know, it's called scaling. It's like the more you do, generally the cheaper it gets. But somehow, and I don't know why this is, somehow when it comes to daycare, it feels to me as though there's no scaling involved in daycare. Like, I would think the more children you have in a daycare, the less expensive the daycare should be due to the fact that it's scaled. Is that not how it works? I mean, obviously, as the amount of children, you know, pile up, you have more staff, but I assume the staff is there in relationship to the amount of children. I'm trying to think, like, it almost feels like, what would you need? It's like you need the parents to be in a union with their children. They unionize their children so they have collective bargaining against the daycares. That almost feels like what needs to happen. But, whatever. In my life, I've known some people that have acquired some pretty amazing daycare services. Procured them, sorry. There was one moment in my life where I was like, man, maybe I should just take care of someone's child on their behalf, because they make pretty good money. But what do I know? I don't know. Oh yeah. Thumbs up on the bacon. So anyways, that's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of it's pretty funny. I mean, I almost feel like if a person were to go back before all this Somalian daycare news broke, and I don't want to try to make a declarative statement that it's only Somalians. I know it's not only Somalians. There's a lot of people doing these frauds. But to be a traditional American, you always got to make fun of a group of people, right? So that's what we're going to do here. The stereotypes, Somali pirates and all that. And that's, a Somali pirate stereotype's based on the fact that there are Somali pirates. I mean, I've never heard of a Canadian pirate, for example, or a, I don't know, pick another country. I just can't name any other country right now that is known as a pirate. Anyways, it's almost like a skit from Saturday Night Live where they would come up and be like, yeah, in breaking news, the Somalian daycare, and everyone would be like, what? That'd be the first thing everyone would say, what? Why is it a Somalian daycare? Like, that's another one I can't quite figure out. I've never heard of a daycare described in terms of a country on planet Earth. I've never heard of American daycare. I've never heard of Mexican daycare. I've never heard of Russian daycare or Palestinian daycare. I've never heard of any of that. But I have heard of Somalian daycare, and I'm trying to figure out why am I aware of Somalian daycare, but none of these other country daycares? But anyways, maybe I'm just ignorant. Probably that. But back to the Saturday Night Live skit, it would be the Somalian daycare, and then they'd pan to a shop, and on the shot it'd show a picture of a sign that says Learning Center, Quality Learning Center, not learning. Because that is so funny that it's spelled wrong. No, that's just funny. It doesn't matter who you are. Anyone that's being accused, and we're going to just say accused for now, even though I read the other day that the Quality Learning Center is no longer open due to potential, I guess, crimes. Anyways, the fact that the sign's spelled wrong is that's chef's kiss right there. That is beyond comedy. And it's not because there's A spelled wrong. It's the word learning was spelled wrong. I mean, come on. Is that getting any funnier? That is maximum funny. And if you don't think that's funny, I don't know what's wrong with you. The other thing that came out of me learning about this little situation up there, something that's crazy about it is the guy who made the video that went so viral, Nick Shirley or whatever his name was, he didn't discover this stuff. this stuff's been happening, and they've been prosecuting some of it, but a lot of it's been being ignored. I think that's what's making his video so viral, is the fact that, like, there was a dude in the van with him talking to him, and the guy's been trying to blow the whistle on this for like half a decade, I think. But anyway, one of the things I found so interesting in Shirley's video, and you can start, sorry, I'm chewing bacon. I'm trying not to talk with my mouth full. You could say he was being, disingenuous about wanting to enroll his quote unquote child, which he doesn't have. And then, well, he didn't have a child, so that's disingenuous. Well, it's like, well, okay, I get it, but like, suspend your disbelief for 1 second. The people at the doors don't know that, and how can a person, like, I'm pretty sure they are not private daycares. They should be open to anybody. I don't think that's how government-funded daycare works. Because we have laws about discrimination in this country. I don't think you're allowed to discriminate against other people who aren't like you, if you will. Let's just pretend that you're from a country. You can't just do a thing and let those people in the country join whatever you're doing. That's called discrimination. Whether you think it's correct or not, you're not allowed to do that in America. So the daycares have to be open to everybody. Who qualifies, I guess. Maybe you can put that down. Because you can discriminate over financing, but you can't discriminate over like where your grandpappy came from. Anyways, so he walked up there to, like, quote unquote, find out if he could get his kid enrolled. And what did he find in the parking lot of the Quality Learning Center? A somewhat hysterical, and I was just going to say it, woman screaming about something that wasn't happening. Because he was there to find out if he could enroll a child. If a child could be enrolled. And this hysterical woman is screaming, don't come outside. And I know this might be contentious, but I'm not making up what she said. She said, ICE is here. Immigration people are here. And you can even see it on Shirley's face. She's like, what is this lady, like, are you mental? Like, and I think, and when I say are you mental, I mean, like, do you need to be in a mental asylum? Because there are people, apparently, who are so mental that if you show up anywhere and you ask a question about anything, the default position is ICE is here to get you. I was just like, what? And then like that actually opens up another, like, series of questions. Why would a government tax money funded child daycare be concerned if ICE was in the parking lot? There's only two scenarios. One, they wouldn't be concerned, or two, they have illegal, undocumented, whatever the word you want to be is, people either working, participating, or involved. And you pick your favorite version of that. Which version of that is it, the one that is happening? Does the lady in the parking lot know that there's illegal activity? And then, like, is she complicit in the illegal act? Like, it's just so, like, whoa, there's layers to this sandwich. Like if I go down to the tire shop and I want tires done, and I say, hey, can I get tires done here? Is there a woman that's going to show up screaming, don't come out! They might be ICE. It's just like, what is happening? Like, literally, how much, I don't know what the word is. How much delusion is happening on this planet right now? And or how much complicity to crime is going on? Like, I don't even know how to, I don't know. The whole thing is just like, whoa, that's kind of crazy, dude. Bro. Let's get some eggs. I haven't spent a lot of time in foreign countries, but, like, I can promise you, without a doubt, 100% of every single time I personally have ever gone into any country, including the country I was born in, which is the United States of America, whether I was leaving the country or coming back into the country, sometimes not so much leaving the country, but when you leave a country, you're entering another one, so it's kind of one and the same. I personally have been required to demonstrate, show, prove, and acknowledge that I was actually leaving a country, coming into a country, where I had been, who I was, and depending on the contract, the legal contract that my home country, the United States, had with the country I was either leaving or coming out of, or getting through, I either had to have a visa or an international agreement between the two countries that allowed me to travel without a visa. That's how I've had to travel. And when I lived in a foreign country for a year, I had to have paperwork. And that country knew I was in the country. And they knew when I was leaving the country. And I just feel like maybe the saying "rules for thee, but not for me" doesn't always just apply to, like, traditionally the sentence or that statement "rules for thee, but not for me" always meant that fancy important people didn't have to have the rules applied to them. But I'm starting to wonder if that saying is applicable in other situations. And don't get me wrong, I'm fancy. Look at me. I'm cooking my own breakfast in my house, and I don't have the heat on because I haven't turned the stove on or the fireplace on yet. But, like, at some point, it's like, I mean, are we going to have rules, or are we just going to have, I don't know what you call it, not rules? Or I don't, rules. Rules is kind of a weird, just, I don't know. Some of it just seems a little weird. Remember, I had a family member who had a lovely interaction with one of these types of people that feels as though the rules don't apply to them, but not the kind of person who's like so wealthy and so successful the rules don't apply. It's one of these people who's so unwealthy and so unsuccessful that the rules don't apply. One of them types. And this gentleman had allowed himself to ignore the immigration rules of our country and just came here on his own. And then he decided what he would do is he'd buy a vehicle and then drive it on the public roads and ignore all the rules about insurance and all that. And then he would crash into my family member's car. And then when my family member, like, they stopped and the guy's like, basically, "Fuck you, what are you going to do? I don't have shit, I'm not even," it's just like, oh, perfect. And my family member had to eat that financially via his own insurance that he pays for. And it's just like, rules for thee, but not for me. It's just like, whatever, dude. I'm starting to wonder if, like, the normal people are going to be maybe having enough of this here pretty quick. I feel like what do you call it? There's a saying in life. It could be an acronym, if you will. FAFO, kind of like scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. FAFO, F-A-F-O, means fuck around and find out. I feel like the fucking around part we've got perfected. We need some more finding out in this country, I think. I think that would solve a lot of what's going on. Not enough people are finding out. There's a lot of fucking around going on, but there's not enough finding out. We need more finding out. Desperately bad, I feel personally. And I know that's harsh, and that makes people sad, they get mad. But one of the benefits of finding out, especially in a public forum, is on occasion, hold on, I gotta get some bread going here. Maybe I can open bread on the camera, so it makes it interesting. One of the nice things with the FAFO little, life paradigm is on occasion, it doesn't always happen. A lot of times you FAFO on your own, and then you learn on your own. You fuck around, you find out, and then after that, you know. It should be FAFO, now you know. But whatever. But occasionally, when a person experiences the old FAFO, they do it in a manner where others can also learn. It's a group learning environment. And then others can say to themselves, ooh, that doesn't look like any fun to me. Perhaps in the future, I will refrain from the FA part, the fucking around, because I just found out. So wild. I've heard stories. I mean, I don't want to turn everything into race, but like I've heard stories where people say, if you're not of a certain race, then you don't have to have the talk. I've heard this said before, that children who have ancestry from the wonderful country, continent, whatever you want to call it, we'll call it a continent. The children of people from the continent of Africa have to have a talk. They have to have the talk with their children. And I heard about that. I was like, ooh, what is this that I have very limited African ancestry. I do have some, but limited. It's limited for me. So I was like, when I heard about this, I was like, ooh, I want to know about this. What am I missing out on? And what the talk was how to interact with police so you don't get murdered by the police. And I heard about this, and I'm like, oh my God, that's weird because, yeah, my parents told me about that too. It turns out, yeah, if you're not getting the talk, you're getting bad parenting, and it's not just for people from, from a certain country or continent, it's for everybody. And the talk is, don't fuck around with police. Like when you get pulled over, don't act like an asshole. Don't hide your hands. Try to limit to as small as interaction as you can so you can move on. They're armed. And I was like, well, that's weird. Like, there's people who think that's a special thing for special people. That's good rules for everybody. And if you don't do that, your interaction may not go the way you want to. And trust me, I think it's horseshit. But when you live in the world we live in, there's a lot of shit that's horseshit. I think there's a lot of internet videos where people watch internet videos and they get hyped up. And they're like, yeah. I'm telling you right now. When it comes to dealing with law enforcement, you do not want to argue your case on the side of the road with law enforcement. That is not the place. And this is not legal advice. This is just like, if you don't want to get to the FO part of fuck around and find out, you just do what you're told. You take your ticket, you take your cuffing, you take your beating, whatever you take, and you take it. And then later on, you get a lawyer and you deal with it. There's like a saying about arguing with idiots. You argue with an idiot, they will pull you down to their level and they will beat you with experience. And nothing personal against anyone who's a law enforcement officer, but like, yeah. I've known some personally. And I've read the case law about the cop who tried to join the police force and he scored too high. They denied him, he sued, and it went to court, and it got adjudicated on, and it's established case law that they can discriminate against people who are too smart from being police officers, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is, at some point, if your IQ is big, larger, you have a higher IQ, your ability to think for yourself increases, and your ability to question authority and to think independently increases. And those skill sets are not what they want in police officers. They don't want police officers thinking out loud in their own head. They just want them to do what they're told. And I know that makes some people mad if they hear that. Don't shoot the messenger. I didn't make any of that up. I didn't file the lawsuit. I didn't go to court. I didn't get it adjudicated against me. I didn't. The only thing I did is I know about the case law. It's a real thing. Be my guest. Google away. But yeah, that's a real thing, kids. I think one of the things that's happening right now is the social media, and part of it, I'm like, oh well, I'm glad someone's doing it. I wouldn't do it. They have people who are out pressure testing, auditing against violations of the Constitution. And that's a tough one because I honestly feel like some of that's good because if they don't do it, like, if you don't exercise your rights, you lose them. But I don't think that's for everybody. I think if you're going to go out and do like auditing against the police to pressure test your rights, you have to be in a position where you are absolutely okay with accepting the results of your actions. All the way up to being murdered. I mean, you have to be good with being murdered. Because you might get murdered. It happens. And your murder may be declared a non-murder because of the way things work. So, like, definitely be prepared for that if you're going to go do some of that stuff. I wouldn't recommend it personally. But I'm glad there are people who feel that their role on planet Earth is to do stuff like that because it is good. I think the advent of personal cameras. I gotta blow my nose. I'm so sorry. I think the advent of personal cameras has actually changed a lot as far as the good old boys and how it used to work. I'm gonna rinse this. You get coffee crumbs in the bottom of your thing here. 1 second. Back in the good old days, there was a lot of shit that went down that no one ever officially knew about. Excuse me. And unfortunately, there are people who think, well, that never happened because it wasn't official. It's like, well, yeah, no, it happened. And it wasn't official, but it definitely happened. And one of the ways I know that is because I've seen footage from law enforcement. It doesn't happen so much anymore because I think even the esteemed law enforcement we have wised up to some of this about what they say and do on camera. But I've seen video of law enforcement making declarative statements about what they would or wouldn't have done to a person if they didn't have a camera on. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. Exhibit A, Your Honor. If the police authorities, or whatever you want to call them, are willing to say on camera that literally they would I don't know, how do we say it politely, they would relieve a citizen of their constitutionally protected rights, if you will, as long as there wasn't a camera on. If they're willing to say that on camera, just imagine what they used to do before cameras. It's just like, oh, okay, so that's official. I personally, and this is kind of a crazy story, this was either last century, I think it was last century maybe, or either that or the beginning of this century. I was involved in an incident with the police where I was having fun with some friends and we had some music that was a little too loud. And we were partaking in adult beverages. All of us were adults, but there were some there who were not of drinking age. The police showed up. I was in the backyard with my friends. This was back when freestyle rap had just become like a really popular thing. So you'd go to parties and people would freestyle rap. It was fun. And we were videotaping. I had a video camera back then, which was very rare. This was before cell phone cameras and all that. Operated on magnetic tape. And we were freestyle rapping, and my camera had the ability to record in the dark because it had a light. And if you know anything about old videotaping, you had to have very bright lights in order for the videotape to work in the dark. So the light on this thing was intense. And here I am rapping away with my friends in the backyard, and a person walks up on the porch, who I don't know who they are. They don't announce themselves, nothing. They just walk up on the porch, and they take their hand and they slam it into my camera to try to cover the light. And I turned to see what it was. It was a police officer, and they palmed the camera into my face, jamming the camera into my eye. They had a viewfinder, and they put it right in my eyeball. At the same time, the police officers went to the front door, knocked on the door or whatever. A person answered it who didn't live there. The person who answered said, "No, I don't live here," or whatever. Hold on a second. And the police officer let themselves in, which is against the law. They were not invited into the house, and they could not see illegal activity happening with their eyes. Fast forward. I'm losing my mind screaming about what they're doing and how I've been assaulted. And they got me cuffed up on the table. Then my training kicked in from when my parents instructed me how to act around the police officers. I finally stopped screaming and getting mad, and I just said, "Hey, man, do what you got to do. But I'm pretty sure what you're doing is illegal, and I'm going to lawyer up, and you're going to find out. You're effing a, and then you're going to FO. You're going to FAFO." And the cop considered what I had to say, realized why I had been cuffed was not a legal reason, and took me out of cuffs. They realized I screwed up. They still gave everyone tickets for disorderly house, is what they called it. I went down to the prosecutor's office, had a conversation with him, explained to him how they illegally entered the premises with no warrant, did not see a crime, illegally detained me, and how I was maybe thinking about getting a lawyer and see what we could do about it. And I offered we could just drop the charges and I could move on with my life. I had a copy of the assault on my hand, offered to leave it. The guy dropped the charges. I walked out, got like 10 feet down the hallway. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be involved in this. Went back, got my videotape, just said, forget about it. Moved on with my life. because of that interaction I had with that prosecutor, I found this out later when I was playing adult hockey and I played on the team with the cops. That spurred a citywide, I don't know what you want to call it, conversation retraining about interacting with the public and video cameras because of me. Because I talked to a cop and when I told that story, he was like, Jesus Christ, that was you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, no, that was a big deal with the police department. A huge deal. It was the first time they'd been videotaped breaking the law in my city. And I brought that to the prosecutor's attention, and they changed the way they deal with the public and cameras because of me personally. So I kind of fucked around, and a bunch of people found out. Now, that's a true story. I'm not making that up at all. And you fast forward, now everyone carries a camera in their pocket. And no one knew that was going to happen back then. No one knew that in the future everyone would have a phone in their pocket. I just happened to carry a camera and a film. I carried a film camera and a video camera with me everywhere I went. Because that's who I am. I've been doing that since 1996, if you will. I know some of you young people can't even wrap your heads around that, but yeah, I had a backpack I carried with me everywhere I went. Anyways, so there's a lot of people going out now filming encounters with police officers trying to get, a rise out of them or whatever. Which I think is good because I had my interaction with police and the result of that was, hey, look at my drawers, you weirdo. My beard's on crooked. The result of that was my town, which is not ran by complete incompetence. I mean, there's a lot of it, but they took the opportunity to, retrain their police force and instruct them how to interact appropriately, constitutionally with the public, which is nice. And I think probably a lot of people in my town have benefited from that. But it seems to be there's a lot of towns where they haven't had that polite finding out of the FA. I think a lot of towns, it results into huge lawsuits for constitutional rights violations, and then they have to pay out. Which kind of sucks because it comes out of the taxpayer's dollar, not the, they don't pull it out of the police pension, I know that. They pull it out of the taxpayer base. But, whatever. So anyways, the moral of the story is, if you find yourself involving in a situation with the law enforcement authorities, don't do the FA part, because otherwise you're gonna FO. You're gonna find out. I think there's a term. It's called main character syndrome. I think a lot of people are suffering from it, where they think they're the main character. And you probably notice this if you interact with a lot of people. There's always the main character that will interject themselves into almost everything. I mean, maybe I have main character syndrome, but personally, I only interject in when I have something that can be additive. I don't flap my gums just to hear my gums flap. But there's some people that just can't help themselves. They have to flap their gums because they're the most important person in their little scenario. And it's wild too, because it happens all the time. It happens a lot in video gaming. I notice it a lot in video gaming. Where you can actually, it's easy to tell. This is the best way to tell if you're playing video games. And if you play video games and you watch this, you may test this on yourself. If player A says player B's name out loud, and you're player C, and you answer, you might have main character syndrome, where you think that you are the main character. Especially when A says B's name and asks B a specific question, and then another person chimes in or gives a full sentence response or whatever, that person, in their mind, they're the center of the universe. But it's hard because I've been there too, where someone says something and someone else either pauses and you know the answer, you want to say it. I've probably done it myself. I may be the main character, you never know. But I think everyone's born the main character. It's just whether you maintain it or not. That's the hard part. Anywho's, my application for daycare has been filled out. If you got any children, you want to have them taken care of, the EGGSTRA Extra Quality Layering Center. That's what I'm going to start. The Extra Quality Layering Center. I'm starting that up here pretty quick. EGGSTRA Extra. I would spell quality right, because quality, you don't want to mess that up, but I'm going to go with Layering Center. Whatever. Cheers. Made our hour. I'm not sure if I want to make breakfast streams a regular thing, but for some reason I just kind of, maybe I feel like eating bacon. And for some reason, eating bacon, I feel like there's all this work you got to do. You might as well stream yourself cleaning the bacon cooking pan. I did see this one thing. I had this new top fans thing. I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to touch it. So Jeremy is a top fan number 150 XP. I don't know what that's all about. Something new I've never seen before. So congratulations, Jeremy. You made the first live stream top fans. I don't know if that means you paid money or... I mean, hopefully, if you paid money, I hope you have money to pay. I don't know what that's all about. I might have to research that a little bit. But anyways, I know that most people don't catch this live. That's fine. I don't mind. If you're gonna fuck around, you might find out. Be prepared. Seems to be a lot of people that need the finding out part. We need more finding out. Peace. I'm out. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year. I know it's a little late, but 2026. It's off to a lot of fucking around. I know that. A little bit of finding out, but take notes if you see people finding out. Take notes and try not to follow in their footsteps. I'm out. Peace.